Welcome back. Heavens to Betsy. It's all tidy. How amazing. I can see the beautiful carpet I'd forgotten I had, and I can see 3 very large pieces of wood. A bendy one, a 15mm one, and a 12mm one. Exciting stuff because, dun dun dun, I'm going to start on the Steampunk Tardis Console. I've got a drawing, and I've also got a visualisation, which is all very nice. Been sent by Dan, who wants me to make this for him. The best place to start, as always, is at the very beginning, which is the bottom. So I have worked out this, added some of my own dimensions and things, and come up with some detailed plans. Here we are. So I'm going to go and get on with that. That's so exciting. Sadly though, I'm not going to be able to use the laser cutter or the 3D printer. I'm going to have to resort to routers, and I suspect the bandsaw and the sanding machine are going to play a very large part in this. Bandsaws are so useful and plentiful. I've clamped a piece of wood against it. You found a lovely use for this fantastic tripod that was rescued from a skip. And then what you do is you screw down your big piece of wood you want into a circle, and then it turns and cuts a perfect circle out. I've got 3 of these to make up, so I will get on with that. Got the 3 bits cut, and I've staggered them slightly so it's easier to sand the radius on. I want to save as much wood and also weight, that's the other thing, as possible, because this sort of thing could easily end up weighing an absolute ton without you noticing, standing there building it on the floor until you try and move it. And obviously it needs to be moved, and obviously it needs to fit through doorways. That's another mistake that's easily forgotten. So in order to do all that, I've screwed these 3 pieces together. I'm now going to sand them with some sort of other jig. I tells you what, I do like this tripod as a support. I've got some proper wood supporting ones, but this is brilliant, all the angles you can get. And here we have it. I've clamped a piece of wood onto the sanding machine bed, and I have slowly turned this round with another screwed pivot in the middle, and I've got this lovely angle all around it now. How exciting. It is amazing how long these big chunky things that represent cast iron take to make, but that's looking lovely. I've spent my lunchtime trying to work out whether to use a router bit to turn over, put a radius on this, and in the end I just thought, use glass paper, which I dutifully did. Now it's time to cut through the top 2 layers of this. Top 2 layers. So I'm going to use the curved ply to go inside it to build up the next bit. So I've got my trusty old router, very, very old. In fact, so old it didn't come with a dust extractor, so I had to build one out of a pencil case and bits and pieces, and I've just built an adapter here much better than the one it came with, so you can adjust basically the distance that the actual cutting bit, which is down in there, is from the middle bit, and I've set it correctly with an accurate pencil mark. So I'm now going to switch that on. I'm going to set this to the right depth, probably go around twice, cutting through each bit. I've screwed them from the top as before, but I've also added a row of screws down here, because it's all well and good cutting shapes with routers, but if part of it's loose and not fixed, you nearly reach the end or halfway round and it all can start slopping about. So I'll get that done. As always, I'm using my Bosch gas extractor. The pipe goes all the way around. Gas 25, brilliant. It's even got something that cleans the filter inside. Amazing, it lasts through a few seconds. It's also got this setting, which is fantastic, because it means if you plug a tool into this socket, it's also very useful as an extension lead. Basically, that's what I've done with this. When you switch this on, it's incredibly noisy, but There we are. It switches the extractor on, keeps it running a few seconds after the machine tool stopped, and then switches itself off, which is really helpful. I'm very impressed with that. Brilliant bit of kit. So I've nearly got through. I've taken it in 4 cuts. I'm just going to reset the blade in this because it wasn't quite out enough to reach the bottom, the 30mm, the 2 layers of this. So I'll cut that and get back to you. Always wearing headphones, or ear defenders even. The moment of truth. Let's speed that up actually. Hopefully, by unscrewing these screws, the middle 2 should come out. The moment of truth. Hey! Well, there's one. Nothing like labelling everything. Oh, yay! Look at that. What I'm going to do now is to go around one of these bits, cutting that down to the right diameter for the inside, so 10mm to allow for 2 thicknesses of the 5mm flexible ply. So I've got a stopper basically to put in the top, and then the joy! I have to say, it is lovely with working with real, well, MDF, but power tools again. It's really nice. Finally, I've unscrewed the 3 bits so I can put glue in them and then screw them together again. There's the first one. Zoink. Here's the second one. This is going to form the first ridge that narrows the cylinder, if that makes any sense. I've just used the 12mm for this one. I routed it around the top and bottom, having screwed the 2 together again, and we have this. So this bit is going to fit inside the flexible ply. That's going to fit inside the base, hopefully. So let's illustrate. It's going to be like this, hopefully. Oh, I've done it. No, I haven't done it wrong. I've done it right. That's right, because the flexible ply is 10mm thick, so that should be on the inside of this, the outside of that. There's the lid for it, because you don't want it to the edge of the ply. And there's a rebate for the next bit of flexible ply to take it up the next level. It's the next day, and the tripod is still performing a very useful mechanical task, other than photography. What I've done, I've cut 2 strips of bendy, wibbly wobbly plywood, and look, dear friends, I'm so pleased. All my calculations seem to be working out. So we've got 2 rings of this flexible ply now. I haven't glued it on anything or clamped it at all yet, so that gives it an enormous strength, because obviously this bit is going to be supporting everything. And then let's see if this fits. This is the other bit I made yesterday. Ooh, I sound surprised, but I suppose I shouldn't be. Look at that. That is perfect. As I say, I've got to clamp it all and everything, put the glue on and then clamp everything together. I'm really pleased with that, because now there's the rebate for the next 2 pieces of this. I'll take it up a bit. It's amazing the work that goes into these sorts of things. It's a shell structure, so it's incredibly strong. There's not going to be, by the look of the plans anyway, any sort of internal structure inside it. It's going to be hollow, but that's fine. This is a very, very strong structure. Right. Let's get lots and lots of glue going. That's handy, Harry. I've just used the offcuts to cut off and make little wedges. And I've put the bit that I cut out of the other bit, if that makes any sense, in the middle, just lining up with the drill bit. So I've in fact created 12 lovely little wedges. So when I put the glue in, I can ensure that it's forced right hard up against the outside. It's things like that, preparation. That's a load of rubbish actually. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Self-spreading glue. How amazing. Don't have to get my fingers covered in it. As always, no affiliation, but I'm using the Gorilla Glue, which I'm really impressed by actually. That is absolutely bonkers. I thought by using a couple of these strap ones that I used to use when I was making the curved speaker cabinets, it would just pull it all together. Just need one round the top. But no, dear friends, In addition to having all these little, well, you can see them around there, all these blocks, which I needed far more than I thought I'd need to force the bottom out against this, I needed every single clamp that myself and my son had, right down to the chemistry lab things that I use in the workshop. That's nuts, because every time I'd squeeze the top in, it would bulge out somewhere else. So I slowly went round adding more and more stuff to keep this bit flush with that bit. In fact, that looks like it's bowing out a bit. That's crazy, because it's not even as though these ends are pushed tightly so it was pushing against something. It's just one of those things. Who would have thought? And that's with a bit this tall. Heaven help us when we come to make the really tall bit that sits up. That's crazy. So I'm going to leave this to dry now and go and do something else. I think I'll stop this video here, as I don't want to inflict glue drying on you, and I'm going to leave it a good 24 hours to ensure that that's really solid. I think this is definitely one of, if not the most challenging things that I've ever made, because nothing is square or perpendicular or anything else really. There's no simple, here's the box bit that you can stick things on. Everything is circular and complicated angles and compound angles, but I do like a challenge. Thanks very much for watching. If you've got any questions or queries, I'm always happy to answer them in the comments. Hope to see you next time. I won't inflict the same old thing on you, because I've got another 2 or 3 tiers of this to make, so I'll get that done, and then I'll get back to you once we've got some more interesting things happening. As always, if you've liked this sort of thing, please do click the subscribe button. See you next time.